Russian Federation, the powerful state of the East, or rather, the one that is thought to be the powerful. With the launch of the invasion of Ukraine by Russian Federation President Vladimir Putin, it turned out that the Russian Federation is not as powerful as it was thought. So much so that the Russian army was almost failing in face of the Ukrainian army and could not even take care of its own soldiers. In addition, the capital Moscow, which is the heart of the country, cannot feel the protection of the Russian army on it. There are quite remarkable developments taking place regarding the Russian army and the Russian capital. In our recent reports, we shared with you an interesting developments about the Russian 205th Brigade serving in Robotyne. There are interesting developments related to this brigade. It was also recently shut down by unmanned aerial vehicles in Moscow, the capital of the Russian Federation. So what's going on? Let's take a look at the developments together. Pskov Airport near Moscow, located about 700 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, was recently targeted by Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles. According to the allegations, the air defense system did not notice the vehicles until the Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles approached Pskov Airport. According to local sources, exactly 20 Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles were on the move towards Pskov Airport. Air defense systems could not prevent the vast majority of attacks by unmanned aerial vehicles. Unmanned aerial vehicles crashed into the airport with a huge noise. With the unmanned aerial vehicles hitting the airport, there were quite large explosions at the airport. The governor of the Pskov region made a statement shortly after the explosions. The governor of the Pskov region, Vladimir, used the following statements about the attacks. Our air defense systems at Pskov Airport are preventing an attack by unmanned aerial vehicles. I was personally at the scene from the beginning of the incident. According to initial information, there are no victims. There is no damage to the airport. There is no information reaching us so far. However, the statements of Pskov governor were refuted very soon after. Both satellite images and eyewitnesses have revealed that the damage at Pskov Airport is quite large. According to local sources from the region, 4 Il-76 aircraft were heavily damaged along with unmanned aerial vehicles hitting Pskov Airport. As you know, the impact of the Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles on Moscow and Russia is quite large. Over the past 3 months, Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles have hit targets in Russia many times. Russian air defense systems are unable to prevent attacks by Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles. Recently, unmanned aerial vehicles were seen again in the skies of Moscow. However, there has been no reports that these unmanned aerial vehicles have hit the city. Local sources in the region shared images showing that several fires broke out simultaneously in Moscow. According to the allegations, Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles have shot down the railway station in Moscow. It is claimed that a large fire broke out after the unmanned aerial vehicles crashed into the railway station. However, there is no exit about the cause of the fire yet. It is claimed that train services have been disrupted due to the fire at the Moscow railway station. Russia is almost shaken by drone attacks. According to the latest reports, Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles have launched their largest attack since the beginning of the war. The Berdyansk region was also targeted as part of this attack. However, there are no reports about the latest situation in the region. It is reported that there are power outages in the region due to the drone attacks. Russian sources, on the other hand, remain silent about the attacks in question. At the time of preparation of this report, the attacks of the Ukrainian armed forces were continuing. Ukrainian military unmanned aerial vehicles had launched the largest drone attack since the beginning of the war. It was hitting strategic targets belonging to the Russian army. The administration of the Russian Federation has declared an attack regime in Moscow and the Tula region and raised it to the red alert level. According to the allegations, this attack by the Ukrainian army has the qualities that can change the fate of the war. The attacks on Russian territory are continuing at the moment. We do not yet know how many unmanned aerial vehicles carried out the attacks. However, this information will become clearer in the coming days. We will continue to share this with you in the future reports. Let's continue our report today with the latest developments on the front line. As you know, the counterattack launched by the Ukrainian army continues on the front line with a length of about 1,000 kilometers. On this front line, the Ukrainian army has made significant gain against Russian troops at important points. In addition, the attacks of the Ukrainian armed forces have significantly eroded the Russian troops on the front line, both in terms of resources and morale. As you may remember from our reports in the past days, there have been some very important developments regarding the Russian 205th Brigade stations around Robotyne. Their meetings with the commanders of the Russian 205th Brigade had been leaked to the press. During these negotiations, the Russian 205th Brigade was asking its commander for orders to withdraw, because the brigade has no ammunition and no bread left to eat. For this reason, a large number of Russian soldiers in the Russian 205th Brigade had surrendered to the Ukrainian army. According to the allegations, despite all the insistence of the Russian soldiers, the Russian commanders did not give the 205th Brigade to withdraw. The soldiers of the Russian 205th Brigade are in a very difficult situation, trying to resist the Ukrainian army, which is coming in waves. According to claims, the brigade has run out of all supplies. Therefore, it is claimed that the remaining soldiers of the Russian 205th Brigade ate the rats they found in order to survive on the front line. Even the fact that this claim has been put forward is a really tragic event for Russian army. As we mentioned at the beginning of our report, the Russian Federation, which claims to be the mighty state of the East, cannot send food to its soldiers on the front line, and these soldiers are trying to feed their bellies with the rats they found in the front line. Moreover, this army cannot protect the cities located within its borders, especially the capital, so much so that 4 regions of Russia are attacked in one night. However, the Russian Federation is trying to cover up these events with manipulative news. The special military operation, which is expected to end in 3 months, is almost about to leave its second year behind. However, the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, did not achieve the success he wanted. The resistance of Ukrainian leader Zelensky and the Ukrainian army has put a barrier in front of the Russian army. What do you guys think? Do you think the attacks on Moscow will affect the war? What do you think about the attacks launched by the Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles? Do you think the claims that Russian soldiers eat mice is true? We care about your opinions. Please share them with us.